Hello race fans and welcome to another race replay. This week's Daily Race C is at Brands Hatch in the Group 4 cars. This 12-lap race has a mandatory use of the hard compound, on which you can start and complete the race without pitting because there's almost no tire wear, or you can switch to the mediums after one lap. Another option is to start with mediums and pit in lap 11 for a change to the hard tire. Fuel saving is another thing to consider. Not pitting or not fueling when pitting could save you valuable seconds, but it also means you cannot drive flat out the whole race. Lots of options, which I like because it makes the race more dynamic and interesting. With the new BOP update, it seems there are more cars to choose from for the race, depending on which strategy you are following. And strategy will also be the key word for this replay, because I completely messed up with the strategy and fuel in this one. You could say I pulled a Ferrari strategy on myself, literally leaving myself out to dry. You will see why at the end of the race, because all was decided in the last lap. This track is actually really unforgiving, because there's lots of tricky corners and almost no runoff area in those corners. Therefore, it's a track with natural track limits. It's also not very wide, so overtaking is not the easiest thing to do here. For this race I'm driving the Megane, but I also have seen people driving the Alfa 155, the Suzuki Swift, the Genesis G70 or even the Audi TT. So this new update seems to have done the job in making more cars a reasonable option for the race. If you like this replay and would love to see more in the future, then please hit that like button. It really helps the channel move forward. For now, let's dive straight into the action. It's again a rolling start and we are starting in P7 with a fairly average quali time in the 1 minute 30s. There's a couple of A-rated drivers in this race and with a good result, we might actually make the jump to A rating ourselves. I'm starting on the hard tire, but will be pitting after this first lap for a fresh set of mediums. A quick tip is to put your fuel mix from 1 to 6 before the actual start. This will already save some extra fuel. So it's lights out and away we go. Getting a good start, but already with pretty big gaps between the cars. It would be nice if the gaps were smaller with rolling starts, but me being a small-time YouTuber, chances are Polyphony will probably not hear this. Some people behind us are on mediums probably, or at least I would assume. So in this case, we let the German who pushed himself through, we let him go to lose as little time as possible. But there's already another driver pushing behind us as well. He is also probably on medium tires, but I try to hold him off a little bit so he can overtake me at the next straight, which causes us as little time loss as possible. And there's lots of other cars behind him on mediums it seems as well. Or they did a better job warming up their tires because we don't have the pace right now. As we stay behind Royal Warhouse, he loses the car in this turn and we follow him off, or almost follow him off, and at the rejoin we are overtaken by Ryan, who in his turn loses the car at this turn and has a sloppy rejoin, but he somehow is being ghosted, and as you can see it's all mayhem behind me. There's lots and lots of cars, probably most of them on mediums, who are trying to make their way through, and it's all pushing and punting. So it's a good thing we're going into the pits, but yeah, we overcooked the pit entry and actually are being overtaken in the pits. So let's see how this rejoin on the track after the pit stop turns out. Pit crew doing a good job over there. Yeah, he overtakes us. Crash test dummy is now in front of us. And it's all to play for in the next 10 laps. Skipping forward to lap 6, we are now in P11. Let's just say Crash Test Dummy lived up to his name in one of those laps. At this point, however, I realize I'm starting to have a problem with fuel. I already put my fuel mix to 2, but this isn't saving enough for fuel. Therefore, I decide to let Crash Test Dummy pass me again to settle in behind his slipstream. There's no radio communication allowed with the pit wall, so I have to make all the strategic decisions myself. In my mind, putting the fuel mix up to 3 or 4 was not an option because that would simply kill my lap time. So this is starting to look like a Ferrari strategy call, potentially killing my own race. Again, skipping forward, we see people going into the pits. I couldn't really tell what kind of strategy they were running, but I am in no position to say something about the strategic choices of others. I was already struggling with my own strategy. At this point, things are starting to look like they're going from bad to worse, because P13 Black is also about to overtake me. Then again, we are also somehow still within the reach of Crash Test Dummy, who might be struggling with his own fuel saving issues. Getting a good exit in these couple of corners, we are actually making a move on Mr. Dummy on the back straight, following in a few seconds. As you can see, I'm getting a good exit again. But this fuel mix is really killing any hopes I have for an actual overtake, so staying in the slip is all we can do for now. P13 Black has followed us, staying within a second distance, and is probably waiting for his chance to strike. I'm driving too careful in these next couple of corners, so we lost the slip to Mr. Dummy, and now P13 Black sees his opportunity. As you can see, I'm totally messing up these corners, driving way too careful. And yeah, at this point, Mr. Dummy is too far ahead, and P13 Black is definitely on us. So I let him overtake me at the start-finish straight and try to stay within the slipstream once again. Going to fuel mix 1 is out of the question, so this strategy is really coming together. Somehow though, they start battling each other the next few laps, which leaves my chances for a final lap move alive. If I can save enough fuel, I might actually go to fuel mix 1 in the last lap, or at least the final part of the lap. So let's skip to that final lap to see how this race ends and see if my strategy was a big failure or a big success after all. Going into that final lap, the warning signs for the low fuel are still there. Crossing the line with exactly 1 lap of fuel left. And with someone going into the pits, a Super GT P6 or maybe even a P5 is still possible. Especially because P5 and 6 are really going at it. Staying patient and waiting for a mistake or maybe even a crash is what we need to do here. Because of their battling, I managed to get back into the fight as well. This final lap is starting to unfold as an epic final lap battle for P5. And we even see P4 in the horizon. The question is though, will we have enough fuel left at the end of the lap? With that still in our minds, we have to stay in fuel mix 2 for this high speed section. I could see the crowd and the marshals going wild with this 5-way battle. And maybe some of the other drivers are having the same fuel issues, so who knows what might happen. And then, by the grace of the racing gods, P6 makes a mistake and we go for a move instantly. This also means we need to defend this P6, and with Crash Test Dummy getting the slip of P4, a P5 is out of the question. So time to take even more risk by going into fuel mix 1 for the final part of this lap. We need to throw everything at it, bring home this P6. There is only 1% of fuel left. Is it going to be enough or is it going to end in tears? Final turn, final straight, flat out, and then we run out of fuel. But is it going to be enough as we cross the line and P6 baby. So we're holding on to P6 with less than 1/10 of a second. What a result. Super GT would be proud, I hope. So even with my Ferrari strategy, we managed to bring home a good result. Or at least a result to be proud of, running out of fuel in the last few seconds of that final lap. All in all, I hope you enjoyed this replay of this epic race. If so, smash that like button and let me know what you think in the comments down below. For now, there is nothing left for me to do but thank you for watching and wish you a great week of racing. See you in the next one. Bye bye.